Imagine staring down an enemy on the battlefield. Now imagine doing it with one arm, one eye, and over 80 deep battle scars. Most people would be long retired or dead. Sangram Singh was leading the charge. In the early 16th century, North India was a shattered landscape of rival kingdoms. At the center of this chaos was the throne of Mewar, a seat of power so coveted that the fight for it pitted blood against blood. Sangram Singh, who would later be known as Maharana Sanga, didn't suffer his most gruesome injuries fighting a foreign empire. He lost his eye and his arm to the swords of his own brothers during a bitter succession crisis. Surviving that kind of familial betrayal and physical mutilation would break a person's spirit. Sanga took that devastation and treated it as a baseline. That initial crucible of pain stripped away any remaining fear. The man who emerged from that power struggle was hardened into the most uncompromising and fearless leader in Rajput history. When he finally secured the title of Rana of Mewar, he ruled from the massive heights of Chittorgarh Fort. But simply holding his own territory wasn't his endgame. He wanted to stitch the fractured Rajput factions into a single dominant force. He didn't build this coalition through diplomatic letters. He did it by fighting at the absolute front lines. Wearing heavy iron chainmail like this, Sanga threw his battered body into close-quarters combat, demanding that if a man missing half his limbs could hold the line, so could they. Rival kings, men who had spent decades fighting each other, willingly submitted to his command out of sheer awe for his endurance. With a united army behind him, Sanga systematically dismantled his regional rivals. He routed major powers across northern India, dealing severe blows to the rulers of the Delhi Sultanate and leaving their regional strongholds in ruins. Sanga's visible damage became his most effective political tool, a permanent demonstration that he was willing to suffer more than any rival to keep the coalition together. In 1526, the variables of war shifted completely. Babur, an ambitious invader from Central Asia, marched into India bringing entirely new military mechanics. Sanga's supremacy relied on massed cavalry, iron armor, and immense human courage. Babur arrived with heavy iron cannons and matchlock firearms, weapons that cared nothing for human bravery. Sanga refused to let a foreign power take root. He marched his massive Rajput coalition straight into Babur's invading army at Kanwa. But Babur entrenched his cannons, unleashing a barrage of gunpowder that shattered the Rajput cavalry charges. Down in the dirt, Sanga sustained severe new wounds, bleeding heavily, yet he violently refused orders to retreat. Gunpowder outmatched swords. Babur secured the victory at Kanwa, decimating the coalition forces. But against all odds, Sanga survived the carnage. Most commanders would accept the loss and sue for peace. Sanga woke up, assessed the devastation, and immediately began organizing a new army to march on Babur again. Advanced artillery and superior firepower proved they could win a specific battlefield, but they completely failed to extinguish Sanga's drive to keep fighting. That unrelenting drive is exactly what caused his downfall. His surviving allies were exhausted, depleted, and utterly terrified by Sanga's uncompromising obsession with attacking Babur for a second time. To stop him from marching whatever remained of their forces into another guaranteed slaughter, his own inner circle slipped poison into his food. Sanga's 80 scars and missing limbs are a physical inventory of a life colliding with reality, a visible version of the internal rejections and betrayals we collect moving through our own lives. You will eventually face a problem that outguns you, whether it's a massive technological shift in your industry or an insurmountable personal crisis. Hitting that wall is inevitable. Dropping your sword is a choice. We often hide our damage, treating it as a defect. Sanga's legacy suggests a scar is the record of a moment that failed to stop you. The damage you take is the very thing commanding respect from the people around you. Wear those wounds with pride. Use your endurance to rally others, and keep pushing forward on the battlefield of life.